Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to set up Moodle in a fresh install of Ubuntu. So this is 1804. I haven't done anything except install Ubuntu from scratch here. So first thing we'll do is hop in a web browser, how to install Moodle. And I'm not going to really shy away from just copying instructions from internet here. Step-by-step installation guide from Ubuntu. We might want to make that small, put it over there, put that over here. Cool. So I mean, a lot of this will be just copying commands from the internet into our terminal. So we don't need to install Ubuntu. We probably will need Vim though. Let's get that. So that looks good. Get that. And install Apache. Yep, that looks good. Let's get that as well. Apache is the web server, of course. And that's the way that it will be able to interact with our Moodle site. We get Apache and some MySQL Apache extensions, it looks like. Install additional software, okay. Yeah, we need PHP and all the PHP extensions, so that makes sense. Okay, I mean, yeah, it takes a while. Cool, now we'll get the next one in there, PHP stuff. We will need Git as well. And then we'll need to download Moodle as well. So we can do all that. Just do everything one step at a time, no need to rush. Install Git, yes please. Hopefully you're familiar with Git a bit. Version control system. And I guess we'll just follow what they're doing here, put it in a op directory. Sure, we can put it wherever we want. And that'll take a little bit to download. I might pause the recording while that goes. Alright, so about to finish up here. You know, it just took a couple of minutes. It's 392 megabytes, so it's a whole pile of PHP. That's what Moodle really is. And yeah, we gotta download all that. Let's see what the next step is. Next step is to check out the right branch of Moodle that we want. So of course there's all different Moodle versions. It's changed over time. I think we'll go with what they're saying, which is a stable version. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Go into that directory. Cool. I mean, I'll do a ls here just to see. Yeah, we got all the Moodle code, and we can do a git branch-a to show us all our branches. And you can see that, I mean, there's even like a more recent version of Moodle since here. So let's do that. Let's go to 3.8 instead, just so we can make sure we're on the latest. version of Moodle. Latest stable version. Okay. So git branch shows us that we are on. Oh well, we have to check that out as well, don't we? Cool. So we're on Moodle 3.8 stable. That looks good. And let's copy these commands so we move Moodle to where we want it. Moodle data. Change it so it's writable by the web server user, which is www.data. That's Apache. And make it read-write executable as well. And we change the Moodle code itself to be not writable. And this will explain it a little bit more as well. But let's just continue here. So, set up MySQL server. Now, this page, I guess, assumes that we have MySQL, which we don't. So, let's get that. So, to do that, let's go on Google, install MySQL on Ubuntu. And that looks fine. Let's click the first thing. Nice and easy. Let's do this. Update. Install. Oh, we already have it. Oh, but I think we installed it before from that install command up there. One of these. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, here we go. MySQL server. Cool. So let's do let's do what they're saying here. We need to set up these basic settings. Has to be the right format for Moodle to work. So we will use Vim because we installed Vim, and edit that file. And let's see. Scroll down to the MySQL D section. Yep. And under basic settings, add the following under the last statement. Cool. Added that. Let's right quit that. :WQ. Yeah, as it says there. Restart MySQL to get those new settings in there. Use the password you created in step 1. Well, we didn't create a password, so I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm just going to make the password, and here we are. So, we can make a database. Yeah, let's do that. Create database Moodle. Show databases. And there's Moodle. Use Moodle. And, yeah, if we show, it's obviously going to be empty, but we've made a database, and we've, we created the Moodle database inside MySQL as well. So, okay, and now we want to make our user, of course, and Moodle, they've got the command here. I guess we'll change it to be user, Moodle user, and identified by, I just want to make the password, make it easy. Made a user, and we want to grant some permissions to this user, so let's do that. To Moodle user at localhost identified by password. Okay, looks fine. And then we can quit. Yeah, look, it's pretty simple, isn't it? I'm just following literally the instructions one by one, so pretty easy stuff. It should not be writable. Yeah, I mean, so Moodle is not supposed to be able to write to its own code base. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Next, follow prompt. So, I mean, I think we've done everything we need to do here, so let's actually see what happens. Well, let's see. If we can go to localhost, we have set up Apache, but we're not pointing it to the correct place. Do they tell us how to do that here? Document root. Yeah, this is what we need to do. Scroll down a bit. Yeah, this is what we need to do right here. So the next step is to change Apache to look at this, file path instead of where it by default looks. So let's edit this file. I mean, we can just look at that, I guess, first. If we look at var dob html, this index file is what is displayed here now when we go to localhost. If we edit the file, we can put, we can do anything we want here. Like, I'll just change something so we can see that we're doing something. So, is the default. So right here, well, I might just change something, changing something. Oh, I need more permissions, so sudo vim. Is the default. Cool, so let's just go in and change testing 1, 2, 3. Change something there. Cool, so we can basically, we want to point Apache at our Moodle install instead of this HTML folder, which is in here, in the Moodle folder. And that's what we're going to do right now. And you do it with a config file in Apache, which is this file right here. Document root. This is what we want to change. This should be pointing to our Moodle install. Now let's refresh. Oh, we need to restart Apache. Cool. Sure. Now let's refresh. There we go. So we're loading the Moodle page instead. So that's the first main steps to setting up Moodle. Everything seems to be working here. You've got PHP installed. And yeah, so the last thing missing is basically the config file. So it's a file that will tell Moodle where to look for the database. It'll tell it the password and username to the database, the one we made here, like this guy, Moodle user identified by password. So somehow Moodle needs to have those details to be able to access this database and start writing and reading from it. And that all happens in a config file, which it does sit in the Moodle code, but we wouldn't bring it across with like doing a git clone, because of course, I mean, the config is going to change depending on where we run this. Like this exact code is running in all these different production sites right now, but we want to customize it with our particular user and password here. So you do that by adding an extra file called a config file. So it's one of these important files in Moodle, and the installation will create a file that we then need to copy it in here, but I think it might be easier just for us to create it ourselves. So this config dist file is kind of a file explaining the config file that we want to make. So let's copy it and then call it config.php. and we'll need sudo for that. And then let's edit that a little bit, and we'll just put in the database credentials that we need, which is not too hard. Mysql, localhost, our DB name is Moodle, our user was Moodle_user, password is password. I think that's the main thing actually that we need. We don't really need anything else. Oh, here, www.root. Let's change that. That needs to also be localhost. Oh, and the other thing will be, yeah, our data root, which we put into, let's see, where did we actually put that? I know we created that somewhere here. It's just var Moodle data. Where was that? Yeah, var Moodle data. So we'll just copy that. Come in here. Oh, I'll just put that in here. Cool. So let's quit that. And then if we refresh this Moodle install page, it should pretty much see that we have a config file, so it'll kind of bypass that installation step which would create it. So we don't need to do all this through the UI, we just made the file ourselves instead. And let's see what it pops up with next. It's probably going to tell us to install the database. Yeah, let's see here. Right, so this is a pretty useful page. It's going to tell us, you know, if our environment is set up correctly, which it looks like it is. You know, we need these PHP extensions, basically all these libraries that will help Moodle basically work. Like we use all this code here. We need the MySQL set up as well, so this shows that, yep, we can connect. And yeah, what Moodle's going to go ahead and do now is install the database. So maybe I'll just show you before it goes and does that. Well, we could see before up here that when I did show tables, it was empty. Now Moodle is going ahead and connecting in there. So let's, you can see all the stuff it's doing there. It's making. Yeah, so after that install finishes, it'll just like take a minute. You'll see this page, and it's kind of, what it's done is gone through every plugin in Moodle and every like kind of modular part of it and installed the specific tables that that part needs. Like the auth email part needs its own tables, and that's been installed now. And before I click continue, I might just show you as well, if we log into MySQL and we connect back to that database that we were on before, if we show tables now, we see a whole bunch of tables in there. So that's just showing you that Moodle has changed it and installed some stuff. And I'll just show you the rest of the, you know, the setup here, because we're not quite finished yet. We have to set up our user. Basically, it's just making a password. Okay, so let's do that. You type a password with that, well, that you can remember, although you can get around that. And any email that's valid will work. So we don't care about any of this. I mean, we're not setting up a real site here. It's a dev site. None of this actually is going to matter. We can change it all. We have access directly to the database, so we just want to skip through this. I mean, notice that our name we've set up there, and you'll see that later. I just want to get this set up. You know, we don't care about configuring time zones and that kind of thing. It's just not really relevant at all. Now the next page is like settings, so we can call up Moodle, my Moodle site. That looks good. Let's change it to that. And I think the only other thing we need is to make this email valid, so put like a .com at the end. And that's it. We've logged into Moodle successfully. You know, we've got a user tour here, very cool. It tells you how Moodle works. We can end the tour as well. And that's it. We are now running Apache, Mysql, we have the config file, and we have all the Moodle code.